Some non-linear thoughts about lines. I draw lines. I've drawn a lot of lines. I think about lines. I think about lines a lot. I don't always understand them, so I have questions. What do we do when we make a line? Artist Louis Kameniser says that a pencil dot on a piece of paper introduces an irreversible change in the universe. So something new is added, something new is suggested, something new is presented. Question: what are the lines doing in this show? Lines showing new ideas, tracing earlier thoughts, tracing earlier actions, lines ventriloquizing, lines doubting, lines reaffirming, lines recording, lines speculating. That these lines, like other lines, are both image and material. They direct, divide, project, propose, protect. 2 meters. Most lines are present. They denote presence. They contour absence. Lines are traces, scars. A line can be the start of a concept, and a line is defined by its own ending. So why do we make lines? Lines point, lines position, lines locate. Lines explain, teach, imagine, withhold, bridge, demarcate, equate, redact, reveal, lie. Lines present, lines represent. They describe, redescribe. Lines describe shape, form, volume, time, energy. Lines describe matter, lines are matter, and lines matter. So question, what do lines do? Lines conduct, they communicate, house information, online, offline, landlines, tie lines, headlines, the live line, deadlines. What is a dead line? Do they exist in failed drawings? Are all lines dead in a failed drawing? I should know. Lines in the sand, lines of engagement, line of duty, vertical, horizontal, vertical. Lines as punishment, lines as punishment, lines as punishment, lines of inquiry, of thought, of veracity. Lines can indicate things not there. So what can lines mean? Artist Kentura Davis says, the quality of a written line is no different than the quality of a drawn line, except with a written line, we've assigned meaning to a set of marks. So we learn lines, lines as texts, lines in poems, in scripts, in songs, punchlines. I like jokes about stationery, but rulers are where I draw the line. Line of apology. Don't fluff your lines. I once saw an actor forgetting his script. He shouted line. Strangely, I can't remember the play, but I remember his plea. The word just seemed so exciting. I see 5 lines making a stave. I hear parallel lines, Blondie. White lines, Grandmaster Flash. I walk the line, Johnny Cash. Across the lines, Tracy Chapman. Wichita lineman, Glenn Campbell. I am a lineman for the county. I'm a bit of a lineman myself. For the past 26 years, I have mainly drawn lines. I wrap lines around my thinking, my understandings, misunderstandings, and hunches. I make lines in my drawings stand in for things in the world. Some things we can see, and some we can't. I do think about tone, but that's for another day. I like insights. I like lines by other artists. Insights, Ellen Gallagher. In Space, Gego. In Chalk, Tacita Dean. Scribbled, Cy Twomley. Dropped, John Latham. Erased, Robert Rauschenberg. Rotated and translated, Mamie Jellett. Woven, Annie Albers. Webs, via Selmans. Spiders make exquisite lines. Pelicans, flamingos, and cormorants fly in a straight line when low over water. Zebras are lines. Zebra crossings are lines. We wait in line, we play with goal lines, side lines, touch lines, gain lines, finishing lines. We get white line fever crossing the line. To paraphrase Philip Larkin, where would we live but lines? Lines choreograph. Yellow and white lines make me walk through public spaces in reasoned ways, but I do walk desire lines. Architect and cartoonist Saul Steinberg said, the frightening thought that what you draw may become a building makes for reasoned lines. So what are unreasoned lines? Pickup lines. Pickup lines are unreasonable lines. So are firing lines, bread lines, snorted lines, blurred lines, flat lines. Question. Do small lines grow up to be big lines? Are the lines we draw in our school copybooks the same as the ones we map onto Earth? Lines make grids. Lines of latitude and longitude link and divide the Earth. The Mason-Dixon, line. The Irish Boundary Commission, line. Drawing the line is Howard Brenton's play about the 1947 partition of India and Pakistan, drawn along Hindu and Muslim lines. Its new borders resulted in 14 million people displaced, more than 1 million people killed. So do lines kill? Architect Philip Johnson reminds us, you haven't any straight lines in your body, and that's true, but time etches lines on us. Artist Agnes Martin understood the line as a psychological positioning. She says, I believe in living above the line. Above the line is happiness and love. Below the line is all sadness, and I don't go below the line for anything. Final lines. In physics, spectral lines are used to identify matter in a star. And might all lines be spectral? If all lines are spectral, they must have been something else before, something in another form, something in another time, something perhaps in a recent forever.